Yeah, the CGI vines are obvious, but who cares? Swamp Thing is a DC Universe original TV show featuring the Big Green himself. Unlike Titans and Doom Patrol, this is apparently set in a different universe. It was cancelled after just one series. Specifically, it was cancelled right after the first episode aired. People have theories as to why that is, since the powers that be deemed not to tell us, and some of those theories have been disproven. Most think it's because the executives didn't think it fit well with the other shows, as if that's a valid excuse not to do something different. The small swamp town of Moray is subjected to a lethal virus, and the CDC is called in to investigate and contain the outbreak.
Atlanta called earlier. There's a possible situation brewing back in the States.
Where?
Fourth came in this morning. The little girl presented first. She had direct contact with her teacher and the school nurse.
The show leans heavily on character and horror. Be aware there's quite a lot of explicit gore involved. Firstly, Swamp Thing's costume is awesome. There's several layers of detail on his outfit that makes him look like he's built purely from vines and moss. It's a visual spectacle whenever he's on screen. Everybody else just vanishes. Because it's a TV show, his ability to control the plant life is scaled back, but when he does pull a trick out of his bag, it's a hell of a trick. Shooting at nighttime or in low lighting conditions is really annoying, and this show is constantly shooting in the dark, and it looks gorgeous. Sets, locations, it doesn't seem to matter. The only time you can't see what's happening is when you're not supposed to be able to see it happening. Everything is properly lit and colourfully when needed.
Peux-tu m'aider? J'ai besoin d'être honnête. Il faut que tu sois fort pour elle. Je ne la quitterai pas.
The performances are excellent from everybody. Lines are delivered with enthusiasm or wonder or confusion or creepiness. You buy all of it.
That same swamp has given me, you, and this whole damn town a way of life.
A few days after Alec Holland went up in flames.
Oh, you got this all figured out, don't you? Let me ask you something, girl. What do you got? You got a piece of a shot-up boat, you got a banker that went on vacation. What else you got? I think that might be it.
When you were going out to parties.
I didn't.
When you were going out to parties.
I think about Shauna every day.
I'm speaking now.
They're not shy about putting blood and gore on the screen either, and I had the misfortune to be having lunch when this scene happened, in a kitchen, so thanks for that. It's not just the gore though. The swamp holds something referred to as the darkness, and it manifests itself in typical horror movie fashion.
If you're Shauna, tell me why you're here.
Save me, Abby. Save me.
But honestly, I have a bunch of problems with this. The show has a ton of plot threads, because apparently half the entire town is doing underhanded deals with the other half, and the other half is wondering when and where the best place to stick the knife is. You know, assuming the first half doesn't beat them to it.
You think I'm gonna take your word for it? I had a feeling the minute I saw him. All these years you already knew.
Give me the shot.
No, you fucking knew. Look, I want to know the truth, Ma. I want to know the truth.
It's complicated and confusing as hell. At one point, around I think episode 6, it got so confusing I stopped paying attention.
You hurt people, and then you pretend to care.
There's no pretend about it, Abby. I love this town, And I love all the people in it.
When it benefits you or when it's convenient.
You could make him see that this is all for his own good.
Who are you?
He says he's been deformed by some offshoot of that plant disease, but it's Holland, all right. And I'll tell you, if he gets into town and starts talking, all three of us are going down for murder and conspiracy.
Which is ironic considering how simply this all starts. This rich guy pays this nutcase scientist to create a substance growing plants faster, so the rich guy can make more money. That's it. It's that simple.
For the last 2 weeks, the evolutionary cycle, the mutagen, has just continued to skyrocket, and now, out of nowhere, people are just getting sick.
A disease rises in the swamp, infects people, so the CDC shows up. Simple.
What kind of study is this?
It's the kind dipshit biologists like me dream about. Check this out. I'm close to identifying an entirely new strand, buried deep in the swamp. And the thing is that for the last 2 weeks, I've noticed a steady increase in speed of these processes. But right there on the bottom, you see that?
I do.
That doesn't belong.
The disease infects some people, there are various attempts to treat them, but the victims vanish after episode 4. They improve, there's a celebration party, but they don't explicitly say what's happened to them. Abby's colleague doesn't show up again until episode 8, leading me to wonder if he had recovered or not.
It's not just paperwork. It's like you fell into a black hole over in that place.
I know I should have called more.
Okay, wait, we've barely spoken in days.
And the CDC never find the source of the disease. They say it's something they have to find, but they never do. They just leave all of a sudden. The swamp being poisoned, who's doing it and why, everyone completely forgets about that after episode 2. Can someone please explain to me how an obviously sensible person like this can possibly trust such an obvious lunatic mad scientist as this?
So it's either a plant or an animal.
And what if I told you that my entries were accurate?
Well, the last 10 million years of biology would disagree with you, as would I.
Bitch, what are you doing? She does it more than once. Even after the alarm bells have sounded, she keeps telling him stuff.
To study my CV,
I know who you are, Dr. Woodrow. And I know that you're working for Avery Sunderland.
If you know that, why are you still talking to him? Half the bad things that happen after this point is a direct result of her telling him shit she shouldn't be.
All life is a zero-sum game, Dr. Arcane. And today, the score is plants 1, human 0.
And considering the ending, no spoilers, the complicated plot threads amounted to very little. Why they bothered to pick up so many plot threads, only to drop them later on with no explanation, is beyond me. At least half the characters are thoroughly unlikable, mainly due to the fact that everyone is an arsehole, or is hiding something, usually both. The show goes for dark, broody and bloody. Titans did dark, broody and bloody, but it also knew how to have a bit of fun now and then. Swamp Thing has no sense of humour. It's just depressing.
I just want to know, if time and money weren't an issue, are you confident you could achieve what you're promising here?
Where is Avery?
Avery isn't here right now. Until he returns, you'll be answering to me, yes or no.
No doubt in my mind.
Dinner's at 7. Don't be late.
By the way, the show doesn't push the environmental argument that much either. Aside from stop polluting the swamp early on, it doesn't present the swamp as something under threat from man. Instead, it's presented more as an internal balancing act that man has disturbed. rather than protecting the swamp from the external threat of man.
You shouldn't be sorry. You should be dead!
Swamp Thing is well presented, acted and shot, fantastically so. Plenty of people were irritated when it was cancelled, probably for the same reason that I wanted to watch it in the first place, because it offered something different, something that hadn't been seen before. Sadly for executives, different equals risky equals bad. It's too complicated and depressing for my personal taste, I'll be honest, but even I think this show deserved better treatment than it got.